Okay, we only have a short time, so you're going to carry on.
Go on then. What number are we?
I'm gonna go because you have this document, right? I'm gonna let you read the rest of it.
All right, can I be quiet, please?
I'm gonna jump to number 57. So 57. What we sue the bank for is unjust enrichment.
Yes.
That's you're gonna make a claim in equity for unjust enrichment, and you're gonna prove that the bank never gave you a loan.
Right. Yeah.
That the bank never gave you a loan, that actually you gave them a loan.
Yes.
And also that you've been paying them money that they don't deserve to get, because they're not the holder of the promissory note. So if you do that, you're going to sue them for unjust enrichment, and you have enough evidence to prove it. This is the letter that you write to them asking for disclosure. Okay? So number 59 is, 58 is that the liability of the bank is established upon disclosure and discovery that the bank has, to the detriment of man, the word is willfully, neglectfully, or maliciously, or dishonestly altered the deed and title without your knowledge and consent. That's what makes the bank liable, the breach agreement. And then you can use number 59, the legal principles that we use in contract. So I won't try and sound Latin and just read it. Odi alteram partem. That means the right to be heard. So when they do their things without consulting you, and it's to do with your account that you created, they've gone beyond their powers. So it's ultra-virus. So you have a right to be heard in any matter that concerns the mortgage that you created. So they cannot go into separate agreements with people you don't know, with new terms that you are unfamiliar with. Okay. Number 2, the second one is non est factum. Applies in a case whereby someone can avoid having to respect an agreement that they have entered or signed because of certain reasons, such as a mistake. Number 1, mistake being that the mortgage agreement wasn't what you thought it was. A misrepresentation as well, because the bank misrepresented itself by claiming that they're in the business of lending money. That's false representation. Undue influence is when they kind of push you in a way to sign documents. The bank do that all the time by undue influence, telling you you have a choice. Yet we live in a realm of choice. You have a choice on anything. And the last one is fraud. And you establish fraud by, if you're gonna, this is that you can use these are legal principles. So you can use statutory words there as well. When you're doing legal things, you can use statutes. You see. So fraud is the Fraud Act is there, 2006, I think. Section 3, non-disclosure. Yeah. Section 2, creating documents to be used in fraud. You see. 12 makes the company directors liable, so you can use that. Then under Section 12, you're liable for fraud by failure to disclose, which is against Section 3. And that's fraud as well. So for that reason, you can use that legal principle, non est factum. Fourth one is a good one. Use it all the time. Quantum merit provides merit. That's the way you say it. Anyway, we could merit, but it's merit. Provide that a person should not be obliged to pay, nor should another be allowed to receive more than the value of the goods or services exchanged. That's the principle. Now, you need to determine what goods and services were exchanged between you and the bank. If they haven't given you any goods or services, then you can use that principle so that they don't gain what they don't deserve. And the last one is consensus ad idem. That has to do with agreements. Has to be consensus, or coming together of the minds so that of an agreement, you see. The basic requirement for each contract is an agreement. It's a meeting of the minds where all parties understand the commitments made to each other. When you signed your mortgage, the commitment that you entered wasn't the one that it became, you see, because you went into an agreement with the bank on understanding that they're going to give you some money, which you're going to lend them back. That never happened. What happened is that you lent the bank money, it then get back to you. And they want some interest with that. So that's what it is, the fourth one.
So Is there any chance of having that turned off? So I can't hear you.
This one?
That's it, yeah.
Yes, sorry. Did you get the points though? It's number 50. It's a legal principle that you can use for challenging the moves.
59.
Sorry, 59. Okay,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
fine. 59. Right, and number 60 is the fraud by reference to Section 3 of the Fraud Act, may be described as deceitful conduct designed to manipulate me to give you something of value. That's what they did. They used deceit to convince you to give them something of value, which was your promissory note. And once they had that, that's a con. Then they come back to you and say, pay us some more money. So number one is a promissory note. That's first payment. What they do with the promissory note is take it to the commercial bank, the big bank, and they give it to them and say, this guy has promised to pay £100,000. And they give it to the big bank. The big bank gives them the whole amount at that time. Okay? And then the big bank is the one that securitizes and does all the other business. But the bank has been paid already. They get paid 4 times for every mortgage. That's the con.
At least.
4 times at least that we know of. 4. Right?
Why do they get paid for?
1 by you, the promissory note. 2 by the commercial bank. Still you're going to pay the note 25 years, you see.
And that would be 3 times.
Yeah.
But that by itself paying it back, so that's 5.
That's 5.
That's if you default any time.
Or if you default, they're going to collect the insurance.
Yeah.
And still come after you, you see. They're going to collect the insurance, that's full amount, but still chase you for the full amount again. So,
And then they get what they make from the fire sale and what you've paid over the term of the mortgage.
if you pay for 10 years and they kick you out, they keep their money still and put the new man in on a new agreement, and they pay the mortgage again with their promissory notes. How many times can they sell this one property? You see, because if you stay in it for 5 years, you default, they kick you out, bring somebody else from the beginning, new promissory note, they're still chasing you, and they don't catch up with you. So if they rent the same property, say in 20 years to 5 different people who all default, they're going to get paid 5 times still, because they're going to chase these people to the end. And they're going to still rent it out. That's 6. It's endless. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. But that's what it is, and that's what we're dealing with. Right? So, they're con man. So, what's the excuse? Let him who wishes to be fooled be fooled. And that's what they say. You see? What can you do? Right, number 60. So it's incumbent upon you to make a claim against them. Always, don't wait to defend. We always wait to be slapped and then we try to fight them back. We always defend it. So once you are the ones who are supposed to make the claims, let them defend for a minute, you see. So you're going to write a claim and say, listen, I claim that I own the house according to land registry and according to my promissory note and a whole bunch of stuff, and I need to rebut within 30 days. If you don't, it means that you accept that I own the house and I'm going to use this, I'm going to rely on this document in court. Done. And that's exactly what you do. You rely on the document in court. The bank has agreed that I don't owe them any money, and here's the proof. It's notarized, it's signed, it's sealed and everything, because you do our stuff properly. Okay? So I'm going to jump to number 66 to see the documents that you're going to ask them at the beginning. That's what we use in the first letter that we send to them. So I'm going to ask you for the agreement signed by both parties, evidencing the existence of a lawfully binding contract. It doesn't exist. A lawfully binding contract, it doesn't exist. It requires 2 parties, signatories, put their name to it. That's a contract. Okay? The mortgage is a unilateral contract. It's only you on it. It's like your driver's application license thing. It's a unilateral contract. It's only you on it. There's nobody else. So how can anybody else make a claim on your mortgage? It's only you on the mortgage. Who else has an interest in it? No one. Okay? Number 2 is a promissory note signed by you. So you had a copy of it. Or at least let us know where it is. Who has it? I need the name, identity of the man or woman who's holding the promissory note as a trustee or in any other capacity. And I need the address, the proper mailing location. The next one is, you can leave the fee simple deed. For the fee simple deed, you can ask for that, but your land registry paperwork is going to show that you're the proprietor. Okay? And it's going to show that this property is held in fee simple absolute. Right? There's fee simple conditional, which means there are conditions to the title. When it's absolute, if your title says absolute, then it means there is no conditions to you owning the property. And that's the end of it. It's absolute. Notice of assignment, we asked them for that as well. So they say they were assigning it to somebody else. And then deed of assignment, there's two things. There's the deed of assignment and notice, you see. Because when they assign it, they have to give you notice. Because I'm the bank and he owes me money, and I'm going abroad, I want to chase him. So I'm going to say to him, I've assigned the note to him, so he's going to come to you. So I'm going to give you the deed of assignment and the notice of assignment. I'm going to give you notice that I've assigned the note. If it's not done that way, it's not proper. Conveyance as well, and most importantly, the mortgage indemnity insurance, which identifies who is the beneficiary of the mortgage. It should be you. All right? So those are the things we asked them for. And that insurance, the last one is what we were talking about earlier, about indemnity insurance. So if they bring a claim against you for foreclosure, the insurance company's clause say that they are obligated, it's a duty, it's not a power, it's a duty. They have an obligation to defend all legal actions against your title. So you send them the claim and they can settle it. Number 68 is an application for disclosure. If you're going to use the statutory nonsense in the legal fiction world, the CPR, Rule 31.16, and that's permitted under Section 33 of the Supreme Court Act of 1981, and that's C, Chapter 54. Also, there's two courts you can ask for disclosure. In the lower courts, in Section 52 of the County Courts Act of 1984, and that's C28. So if you use this act, if they refuse to give you disclosure, if they want to sue you in their venue, then you can use that, because that's proper in that venue. So you just say, fine, I conditionally accept to pay the alleged lender or the claimant money upon proof of, and then you ask them for that, for them to disclose what you've asked for, which is the agreement, promissory note, a fee simple deed, note of assignment, conveyance, and the insurer. And as soon as they do that, then you'll be able to deal with their claims. Okay? And then we go to number 70. Use that. Estoppel. I call it Estoppel. Estoppel. That's the one. Very good. As soon as they default, what you're supposed to do is send them a certificate of Estoppel. And that's the evidence you're going to use in court when they bring the claim. Excuse me, Your Honor, the claimant has been stopped from taking any further action on this matter. Here it is, his certificate of Estoppel. Boom, done.
What's the stop?
It stops them from carrying on with the action. For instance, if I ask you, if you say I owe you money, and I ask you, excuse me, what's your name? And you say, I won't tell you. So I'm going to say to you, I'm going to give you a certificate of Estoppel. I say, I need your name within 7 days. If I don't receive it, it means I don't owe you any money, and your claim is fraudulent. I'm going to wait for 7 days. I hear nothing from you. I'm going to draft a certificate saying, oh, since you haven't responded to me, I'm going to certify that your claim is fraudulent. And a few other words, thank you very much. I'm going to seal it, send it to you. That's your certificate.
A stopping in court clause.
Thank you. Everything has to be settled privately. There's nothing you're going to do in the public courts, you see. You have to settle with your opponent privately. When you go to court, you just prove that you've done, you remain in honor.
Yeah, I did one, and I got my notarized by a solicitor, and also by the notary itself. So I've got two strong one on mine. So you use those documents to create a claim. You see? I don't know what kind of claim you want, but there's three kinds of claims. We tend to do equity claims more than statutory ones. Yeah. So it's just up to you. What do you want to do with your estimables? You need to decide which move, where do you want to go. Once you know where you want to go, then life is easier. Once you know what you want to do, then you get straight directions. Right, okay, so Estoppel certificates. Now, there's many, but you can choose which one. So you're going to have, I'd say Estoppel by silence. That's a good one. If they remain silent, which means they don't respond to you, they don't correspond, it's called acquiescence. So if you don't respond to me, it means you agree with me. If I say this belongs to me, this camera, and nobody says anything, guess what? It belongs to me. And then, yeah, that's about it. You certify it. You write a certificate of Estoppel and give it to them. And then you use that as your, I don't like the word defense, but as your defense if they try to foreclose on you. Okay? 71. Always remember, the word bifurcation is a division of something into two branches or two parts. He's got the key and he's got the title. But who owns the car? Is it him or is it him? They've split the note and the agreement. So we don't know who's holding what. So when somebody comes to you and says, oh, pay us some money, do you have the note? Is the question. Are you the holder of the note at default? And they never answer you. That's one sentence. As soon as you receive the first letter from anyone, saying you defaulted in a mortgage. Well, thank you very much for your letter dated whatever. Is it your claim that you are the holder of a note at default? And leave it at that. It's a yes or no answer. Yes, I am. Let me see it. The cat ate it. Tough luck. Don't write to me again. You see, as long as you don't have the note, I'm not obligated to you. Because I want to see a note in my signature saying I have an obligation. That's all. So who's holding the note?
Both signatures, really.
Yep. But as long as there's no note, there is no obligation. It's contract law. Everything legal is paperwork. Everything legal is paperwork. So the paper has to be correct. Okay, so who actually is it that claims to have a recorded interest? That's the wording. Who is, or you can say, are you claiming that you have a recorded interest in the note and the title? So that's the question. Who has a recorded interest in two things? Number one, the note and the title. Because he's got the note and he's got the title. Or he's got the title, he's got the note. So who has a recorded interest? They never record their interests because their interests are not bona fide. They're not genuine interest, you see. Because you have to have an interest in property before you can register any charge on it. Genuine interest is when you've added value to the property. If you haven't added value to the property, you have no genuine interest. If I have put nothing in your home, I can't come and claim anything on it at all. But if I give you some money towards your mortgage and I've put some, I don't know, maybe I put some windows in your house or I did something, then I can claim I have a genuine interest in the property. But these people have no genuine interest, and that's the word. You have, please provide me, we don't argue, so we don't say you don't have genuine interest. We turn it around and say, please provide me proof of your claim that you do have a genuine interest in this property. That's the wording. So it's positive language instead of negative. And they get us on the negative because they get us to, you cannot perform a negative condition. That's the whole point. But they get us on the negative and into argument, and then we lose our cases. So it's a matter of conditional acceptance. And say, okay, I accept to pay you the money upon proof of claim that you have a recorded interest in the note and the title. Okay, and I need this within 7 days. And if I don't hear from you within 7 days, I'm going to take it, I'm going to presume, I'm going to assume, okay, that you have no genuine interest, or you have no recorded interest in this property, whereby you shall leave me alone, otherwise I'm going to make a claim against you for harassment, attempted fraud, a whole bunch of stuff, you see. But that's how you deal with these fools. It's straightforward. Okay? And because we have limited time, I'm going to take any questions so we can clear things. When we leave here today, I don't want anybody to be hassled by these guys anymore. I mean, it can't get any simpler. Yeah.
So there's 3 ways that I understand, if I'm wrong, just correct me, that you can make a claim. One's civil, one's commercial, one's criminal. So when you talk about equitable claim, where does that fit under the umbrella, or is it a separate tool again?
It could be a civil claim.
It comes under civil.
An equity. So you can take it to a court of equity. It's chancery. That's a court of equity. But in your wording, you have to invoke that court, because these guys are tricksters. If you don't, okay, now I'm just going to give you good advice. If you don't write certain word, they won't tell you. They just dismiss it. You see. So you have to invoke the inherent jurisdiction of the court. All courts on the land are equity courts from the beginning. Because all courts were there to give equity and fairness to the people. That's why they're set up to begin with. So that when you have a disagreement with him, you come to the court, and the court is neutral. It's an equitable venue, and then the judge, who is unbiased, is going to hear both sides of the argument. It's going to make a unbiased decision. But right now, it's not. All these people claiming to be judges are not judges. To start with, they're administrative clerks. What they're doing is administrating your site's accounts. That's why it's called administrative law. It's not law. It's administration. They call it administrative law, but it's not law. Those are rules and codices of the lawless society. That's all it is. We are not members of the lawless society. Their rules don't apply to us. Their statutes don't apply to us. You're a living man. You're here. And yeah, you know where you are. You're here. You're here. You're not here, you see. They want to drag you into the dead world, the world of the dead. Don't go to the world of the dead, the legal fiction world. You can, in order to do business, but you need to know how to maneuver and let them know that here I'm representing the legal fiction. It's not me. I'm not a dead corporation. However, I have copyright to that name and I use it for business. So you don't put in your stupid commercial instruments and send me warrants and orders and all this nonsense in your fake de facto courts. These are de facto courts. They have no authority whatsoever.
Yeah.
They operate on presumptions, you see. They're criminals. They're crooks. And that's all they do. They're crooks. Okay? Yep. Anything else that's not clear?
And I don't have a mortgage. So to know this and to go in knowing about this, to get a mortgage, you better shut your mouth.
If you have credit, good credit, go and get a mortgage. Go and get a mortgage. Within 3 months, you'll be free of it.
And get 10
Yeah.
mortgages.
You got, where is
Just be
this?
quiet about all this.
Yeah, go and apply for a mortgage. Go and apply for a mortgage and get it. And then you don't pay anything. After 3 months, the bank is going to go to the insurer and collect on the insurer. And then that's, just before 3 months ends, you're going to ask him about the insurance indemnity. Who is it? You see. So when they collect, you're going to know about it. And let them know. Since you've collected, don't come back to me ever again. Thank you very much. I don't want to see you again.
I've got a property that a few years ago we weren't able to pay on the mortgage. I don't live in it, I now rent it out. I don't want to put my tenants on the street, but they want to buy it from me. I believe there are charging orders on it.
Yeah, those are a pain in the ass.
You phone land registry and find out.
Yeah.
And can you get them removed?
Yeah, they're a pain in the ass, because there's a process that you have to do. The process we use is this. The charge has to be, what's the wording? Like I said, you have to have a genuine interest before you record a charge on anyone's property. These people have no genuine interest. You see, there's certain things we ask them. How is it that how was it liability created that they can put their interest in your property? You see, that's it. So what we do is this. Normally, how they get a charge is they're going to get to a fake venue, maybe Northampton or one of these fake or county courts.
It's better now. They go to the PO box up in Salford.
PO box. Yeah. So your house is going to be shut down through a PO box. This is crazy, but it's anyway. So now they go to the PO box and make an application. If you don't challenge it properly, they're going to carry on because they're using statutory. It's called special proceedings. When you do special proceedings, it gives the party special privileges and some different rights from ordinary proceedings. What you want is ordinary proceedings under the common law. You see. So as soon as they start the proceeding, ask them that. Are you proceedings, special proceedings, or ordinary proceedings? Because I cannot participate until I know. Now they're not going to tell you. As long as they don't tell me, I don't have to respond to you.
But these are already in place, so it's too late for me to do it in
Now,
process.
right, how to remove a charge? How we remove a charge, we ask for, because it's statutory, right? There's something called Charging Orders Act. That's what I use. There's certain stipulation that they have to follow before they put a charge. The main one is that they have to draft an affidavit or statement in support of the application. They never sign it. So what we do is we ask the claimant to produce the affidavit that they signed to place, to put into the court initially. And we ask the court as well for a copy of the application which the claimant put into the court, so you can compare them. The court never produces it, the claimant never produces it. So after you do your process 3 times, they write to the court, they say there's no record that this charge was lawfully placed. Because you've asked them to produce it, there is no record. If there's no record of the charge in the courts, and the claimant doesn't have the record of the charge, it doesn't exist. Now you're going to write to land registry with your evidence, ensure that there's no charge, please remove it. And when I talk about land registry, I'm not talking about the corporation. I'm talking about the chief conman, or whoever runs it. We deal with man, we don't deal with corporations. So we write the man doing business as chief executive of land registry, or whoever he is, his capacity. That's the man we're dealing with, so we go man to man.
You've got to be careful as well that there's 2 actual addresses. The one that you'll need is the one down in the Temple.
Yes, well done, in the City of London, well done.
A Temple address.
The one what?
In the Temple.
The one where?
In the Temple.
Temple address. The temple. Everything is voodoo. Anyway, we won't get into voodoo stuff. We'll do, one day we'll do the talk so you can show you the symbols, how all these courts are actually churches, you see. It's craziness. They're pretending to be something they're not, you see. Even the House of Parliament, that's a church. Royal Court of Justice, that's a church. And you can see by the vice capacities at the entrance, you see. All of it.
What's called ecclesiastic.
Ecclesiastic.
Thank you.
Everything is ecclesiastical. Office is an ecclesiastical term.
What's that mean?
Office.
No, ecclesiastical.
Religion. Religious background. Well, that's what they claim to get the powers from. That's why you have to place your hand on the Bible when you go to their venues. They're pretending to represent God, to give justice to the people. But it's opposite. They're here to represent the devil and take away property. That's the illusion. So the devil has disguised himself as God and is pretending. But that's it. The devil doesn't come, I'm the devil. No. He's going to pretend, oh, I'm the good guy. But he's not. So they pretend to get their powers from God. Ecclesiastical. That's why they wear their costumes. Yeah, their costumes.
That's the three cities: classical, Vatican, finance, London,
Yep.
military, Washington.
Yep. So it's a triangle again. So we have the three triangle. So you have
The eye, Vatican there.
Vatican, then you have London, and you have Washington DC. So Vatican, that's the guy who does. This is duplicity. This is the Washington is the warmongers.
Yes.
And that's the culture. Politics.
No.
Oh, no, sorry. This is the culture, and this is the religion.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the politics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the three. So London, City of London, Washington DC, and Vatican. So those three work together, and then you mess around everybody else. Because that's not Italy, that's not America, and that's not England. It's a separate state. The City of London is a separate state. They have their own police, they have their own flag, they have their own rules, everything. If you go up there, you see, what the hell, where am I? Yeah, but they don't use the blue on it. It's a simple, it's one cross, the Maltese cross, with a shield and two dragons. It's white, black and white. Right? Okay. Any other questions? You had enough?
You didn't come in. You didn't study law. You didn't study law in the law universities.
No.
You just.
No, I did political science, the study. But it's not really what I'm doing now. I did sociology, political science, and English lit, like is in university when I was young. This stuff is, I'd say, because when we began this thing, I moved from London coming to Leeds. And the place that I landed, I found people that looked like me, but all they talk about is, moaning about what's happening too. They have no idea what the law is. So we started doing some classes about human rights, not human is a monster, but according to the Human Rights Act. So we started teaching that stuff. And from there just picked up. And then when we did that for a while, then the police came after me and they put a whole bunch of stuff. And I've been fighting with them ever since. Yeah. So that's my involvement. So initially we began with the common law, believing that there's a common law. It's an illusion. They went to statutory, it's an illusion as well.
When you do what?
The statutory law, the acts and all that nonsense. And they come to realize there's no statutes, there's no common law, everything is commerce. So that's why we always apply commercial rules now. We don't do anything else. Just commerce. That's it. You see, that's why you're charged. You're not indicted. The charge is commerce. You charge you in a restaurant. If you eat in my restaurant, I'm going to charge you. The charge. What service the police enforcers given you so they can charge you with anything? Nothing. Zero. So they have to indict you for a crime. You see, but because the crimes are so few, all these statutes are there to generate revenue. That's all. You see, and they use their venues to generate revenue. They don't call their places courts anymore. If you look at the paperwork, it's going to say venue. It's going to say event.